Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Wos, and we're here with our Week 4 matchup in the PCA Season 2, Week 4. As I said, we are facing Jax and the Nashville Torrakats. It's a good battler. Let's get right into the matchup here. His team consists of Mega Scizor, Garchomp with the Z, Zapdos, Florges, Alolan Whack, Chestnut with the Z as well, Piloswine, Gyarados, Meloetta, and Polion and Garbodor. Mons, I think he's going to come. Scizor, Garchomp, Zapdos, like 90% coming. I think Florges and Chestnut might be his two walls, and then besides that, for some reason, I was thinking Garbodor. Don't ask me why. A couple Mons can be a little annoying for me, but his team is somewhat slow. Like mine's kind of slow, but I still have a little bit of speed in it. Give me a second. I want to pull up my team. But I think at least with my team, I have Kang, which hits 100, plus Cephalon, which is like 1-8 or something like that. Plus I have Web, so it's not too bad. But besides Zapdos and Chomp, he has almost no speed. Gyarados is the next fastest Mon, so that's not very fast. So let's get right into it. First one we have here is Electric Savali. Savali Electric, my apologies. With Bolt Beam, Flamethrower, and Flash Cannon. Just straight offensive. Enough speed to outspeed Gyarados. Like I said, I can outspeed Zapdos or Chomp, so next thing I can outspeed is Gyarados, and I fucking this thing up. This thing actually can put in work, especially if his Garchomp is defensive. And Piloswine doesn't come, which I don't think it will. But if it's defensive Garchomp, this thing absolutely wrecks his team mid to late game. I can hit a lot of things for super. The only things I can't hit for super effective damage, or just for good damage, Spadef, Alolan Whack, Garbodor, kind of, and Meloetta. But everything else gets absolutely annihilated by this thing. Tipo can fuck up things like, pretty much just Gyarados. But Ice Beam can do a shit ton of Zapdos, Garchomp, and Chestnut. Flamethrower is going to hit Mega Scizor very hard. But the reason I brought Savali over something like Ice or Fire, which would be a better stab, Mega Scizor does not deal well with this thing. I think Adamant Max Attack does like 34% on Bullet Punch, which is ridiculous for the fact that I can absolutely eat that up and easily OHKO it back. And I don't need the stab on Ice Beam for Chomp or Zapdos to do a shit ton of damage. Chomp, if it's defensive, does like 80% to 90%, if not takes it out, depending on if it's defensive or specially defensive, which it might be defensive. Tank Chomp for Kang. And Zapdos is taking like 75%. So it's a great mon. It doesn't have great switch into it, and yeah, if I can just stay offensive and predict with it well, I'll be fine. Next mon we got Walrein. Look at that, those tusks. He likes it dirty. Yeah, we got Spadef. This thing's HP stat is ridiculous, and it can. I feel like if he's bringing Chomp or Zapdos, he's gonna lead off with them, and both of those mons cannot OHKO this, but I can OHKO them back. Like Ice Beam fucks up Garchomp and Zapdos. HP Fire is there for Scizor, because Scizor actually can't touch this thing very well with Bullet Punch. It does like 30%, depending upon its spread, once again, and I can two-shot it with HP Fire, if not Super Fang. Super Fang is there to any sort of switch in, I predict. It's taking half damage, which is amazing. So that's like my safe, like, I don't know what he's going to bring in at this point, like on a Garchomp. Or if I get this thing, if he leads Garchomp, I don't think he's going to stay in, so I'm just going to Super Fang and do 50% damage to something. Aqua Ring is there just in case he doesn't have a good way to deal with it, like not prepping for it. I can just set up Aqua Ring with leftovers and just kind of chip shit away for a while until something takes me out. Oh, Jesus. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is most likely going to be my lead going into the game as long as Chomp or Zapdos are there. Next mon we have is Mega Kang. Max. I'll say why. Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Body Slam, Earthquake. Should have put Return on here. I don't know why I put Body Slam. But yeah, this thing, as you can tell, just super effective moves. No setting up or anything. You might get a little mad at me for going max, but he has the Zapdos. So if he's offensive, I at least speed tie with him. I don't want to bring that down to a potential, him firing off a Thunderbolt and me not being able to potentially outspeed it at least. But other than that, dude, this thing is just going to come in and just start clicking moves. It's going to take out... It's like this thing... Because it's a normal type, its coverage is ridiculous. So I always will have a good offensive matchup, which is why I bring it a lot, even though like it is easily walled by... Or somewhat easily walled by Rocky Helmet Mons with Recover. Because I can always switch out to one of my other wall breakers. Excuse me, damn. But yeah, this thing is here. Fire Punch, Scizor, Ice Punch, Zapdos, Chomp, Chestnut, Body Slam, pretty much everything besides Garbodor, Empoleon, and Alolan Whack, because I'm going to EQ those. But yeah, like I said, I can just, most of the time, just hit what's in front of me, and I'll be pretty fine. I'll be fine. Next one we have Alolan Muck running Leftovers. This thing, his special mons don't like this thing at all. Between Zapdos, Florges, and Meloetta, and Empoleon to some extent. I don't need to run AV. I can just run Leftovers, get some HP back every turn, and still wall pretty much everything, specialty wise. Knock off Ice Punch, Poison Jab, Fire Punch. I could have brought something else like Toxic on this thing, but I need the knockoff Ice Punch, Poison Jab, and the Fire Punch for Scizor. I can't let that thing set up in my face, which without Fire Punch, it could very easily. Yes, this thing can easily be revenge killed by Chomp, but I don't probably switch out depending upon what I think set it is, stuff like that. Next spawn we have Choice Scarf, Blacephalon, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, HP, Ice, Trick, enough speed to outspeed Chomp. So I'm the fastest. I have the fastest thing on the field, barring Rock Polisher, barring setting up. This will always be the fastest on the field. But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just coming in late game and just clicking moves to just do damage. Trick is on there. Like if I know without, like he doesn't have a Scarfer, if I think I would have a Scarf or something like that, I can trick that Scarf onto potentially like a Florges, or Meloetta or something like that. And just if they're defensive, just neutralizing them. Plus they'll probably get like Leftover some back, so it won't be too bad. But that's if I can win with something else, barring locking in, like not having him be able to send Wish Passes up or stuff like that. Yeah, the last one we have is Tyrantrum with Lumberry, Strongjaw, Dragon Dance, Stone Edge, Fire Fang, and Outrage. We have enough speed to outspeed a Garchomp at +1, barring any Scarfs, like obviously. So I am able to invest some in HP and very little in defense, potentially being able to lift Bullet Punch from Scizor or something like that. And then just Stone Edge, Fire Fang, Outrage, hit this thing super hard. Lumberry to heal Confusion from Outrage, or even potentially, if he wants to go for like a T-Wave or something like that, just to paralyze it if he, switches in Zapdos or something like that. Just something. I know I will not have to worry about either A, Confusion, or B, getting burned, or paralyzed, or toxic, really. So yeah, this thing can put in a lot of work, and I realized I didn't have it shiny, which is so sad because this thing shiny is absolutely fucking amazing. But yeah, this is this week. Savali, Electric, Walrein, Kang, Mug, Blacephalon, Tyrantrum. Let's get right into the battle here. Let me fix this. There it goes. As you can see, he brought the team of Garchomp, Garbodor, Zapdos, Meloetta, Scizor, and Empoleon. Empoleon didn't think was going to come. Garbodor, like I said, I had that weird feeling it would, which I guess I was right for some reason. I really don't know why. So like I said before, seeing Zapdos Chomp, I'm going to lead off with Walrein. I thought about leading off with Mega Kang, just in case he led off with Garbodor to try to get up spikes. I can two-shot that pretty easily, and just keep that off, just start the game off with offensive pressure. But I was like, no, let's stick to our game plan here, and let's lead off with Walrein. He leads off with Jesus. I was fast. He leads off with Empoleon. I'm like, okay. He might flash cannon me. I won't do much because I am Spadef. I'm just gonna fire off an Super Fang, and just seeing what kind of set this is, because that's gonna be important. I outspeed. I'm like, okay, so he's defensive. I know that. Doing nice 49% damage. He fires off a Grass Knot. He also has leftovers, as you'll see. So I'm like, okay. He's defensive, it looks like. He's at least max HP. Nope, I don't know that. At this point, I just know he has Grass Knot and leftovers. So I'm thinking, okay, he's max HP. Unless he's a really weird set with no speed, but then not fully invested in HP, which would make no sense. But yeah. So I'm going to make a play here. I'm going to switch out. I want this thing alive because, like I said, this thing still walls Chomp. I can still take an outrage from it from an offensive. I can take a defensive discharge or T-Bolt from Zapdos at this point yet, and Scizor can't do much to me yet. So, and if it is, mid HP, I can take it out then. So I'm going to switch out to, like I said, Alolan Muck. I figure is the best thing to switch into. I can't get Kang burned if he does go for Scald. Blacephalon and Tyrantrum will take a shit ton of damage from it, potentially being burned on Tyrantrum as well. And the Savali Electric, I didn't want that thing taking damage, because that thing is gonna, I feel like, help me win this game very easily. Not easily, but it will help me win the game a lot more than Muck will. So switch out. He does predict that. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. He goes for a Scald. Luckily, I don't burn. Okay, I can just fire for knockoff. This will do a lot of damage. Plus, if he wants to switch out, something's getting knocked off. So he stays in. He goes down to 14 HP. Knocks off the leftovers. Okay, so I'm going to make a play here. I'm going to go for Fire Punch. As long as I don't get burnt, I'm fine. If I get burned, it's going to be a little annoying because I don't think I'll take it out. But his best switch into this at this point, if you wanted to save this, would be Scizor. For the fact that if I would go for like a double knockoff, which would be my best play, he'll take very little damage and then be able to set up in my face, which wouldn't be good. So I'm gonna Fire Punch as long as I don't get burned. Luckily, I don't take it out. Turn 4, one of his walls is down, which is nice. That thing would have been annoying calcing where I was at. Blacephalon didn't do a lot. Did about 50%, so I think definitely could have been annoying. He's going to come right into Garchomp. As you can see, Earthquakes. I stayed in here. I didn't want Walrein. Can't take 2 hits. But I thought he might try to get up rocks here if he's defensive, and I want to punish him for not hitting what's in front of him and over predicting. Plus, at 40%, this thing doesn't do very well against Zapdos and Meloetta, so this is the most expendable mon on my team, I feel like, at this point. So he fires an Earthquake, which at this point I'm thinking, okay, he might be Scarfed, which I still have speed with Blacephalon. It's a roll, take it out though. And my best mon to go into right here would be Walrein. Fuck me. Back turn. I go into Walrein. If he is Scarfed, cannot take me out. He really can't take me out. Like maybe an Iron Tail, maybe. But I can just fire off an Ice Beam. As you can see, he goes into Scizor. My best play might have been going for a Super Fang, but I want to get that thing killed immediately or as fast as I can. without Garchomp, it gains a hell of a lot easier. So he switches out into Scizor, which is a smart play. Takes absolutely nothing from it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. He might try to set up right now, thinking that Silvally is the dedicated mon to switch into this thing, which I'm okay because I will do at +2. Bull Punch still does not take Manta. It's like 50 to 60%, so I easily can live it. And I can two-shot it with HP Fire, which is fantastic. So Mega Evolves. For some reason, I did not think about him bringing Superpower. Don't ask me why, because I don't know why that slipped to my mind. It's a pretty common move to run on it. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that. So Wall Rain's down, which is sad because that thing could have been annoying for Garchomp every time it came in. But at least at this point, he's at minus defense, -1 attack. So I get a free switch into Silvally Electric. As you can see, at this point, I don't think he's going to stay in. He sees that I'm HP Electric. He sees that he has nothing to be able to hit me, especially if he thinks I'm defensive. He can't touch me at -1 attack. So I'm going to make the play. I'm going to go for Nice Beam here. Expecting him to maybe go into... I was hoping Garchomp to take an electric move, or Flamethrower would be the best thing to take it. He switches out. He goes into Zapdos, and it does a shit ton. It does 61%. I'm like, okay, this is offensive. I know that. I know this has no HP invested just from this, which is fantastic. So at this point, I'm kind of iffy. I kind of want Silvally to be healthy to be able to take on Mega Scizor easily. Okay, let's make somewhat of a play here. Let's go into Kang, knowing that he can't take me out with any moves, and I can at this point take it out pretty easily. At least bearing tie. So he goes for U-turn. I'm like, okay. He goes into Garbodor. The reason I did, because if he would for some reason double out or anything like that, I have a good matchup versus everything on his team to be able to hit it very hard. So let me see what he goes for. I'm just going to fire off an Earthquake. I don't think he'll go back out into Zapdos. Plus, he might think I'm not carrying EQ. I'm carrying like Fire Punch, Ice Punch, normal type move, and then potentially Power Up Punch, or I don't know, maybe something else. So I'm just going to fire off an EQ, an Earthquake. It does 53 and then 13. He goes for a Drain Punch. I'm like, okay, this thing is defensive. I know that. So I had to make a prediction here. Do I think he's going to stay in, sack this thing? Pretty much sack it off. Or do I think he's going to make the play onto Zapdos? I'm like, okay, I did think about this for a little while. Because if I predict him to go out, I'm just going to fire off an Ice Punch. So I'm sitting here and debating, like, I think he's just going to sack this thing off, realizing it's not going to do much at this point. So he does. He stays in, luckily. I take that thing out, which is fantastic. I'm only at 50%, and he brings in his Scizor, which is kind of a weird play. After everything, I would have brought in Garchomp, because it's offensive. I'm thinking it's offensive, at least anyways. He brings in Scizor. Yes, you can superpower me. If I'm carrying Fire Punch, though, you cannot kill me. The only move you can move, you either go for two things here. Sorry. You're either going to go for Bullet Punch or Superpower, or Sword Stance if you're getting risky. But if I'm carrying Fire Punch, the only way you can even damage me is Bullet Punch, which will not take me out unless it's a crit. So I'm just going to stay in here. I'm firing off a Fire Punch. He Bullet Punches. He does not take me out. And I easily, but I easily take him out. So I'm like, thank God. See, this is why I like Kang, because even with switches in, his moveset is ridiculous to the point where I can just chip and just take out 1 or 2 mons a game, which is fantastic, and then die, which is what's going to happen right now. He takes me out. I'm like, okay, this potentially could be scarfed. So let's go into Blacephalon and try to take this thing out right now. At least if he's scarfed, he might stay in, hoping I'm not scarfed. But he makes a smart play, and he switches out into Meloetta, and that does nothing. So what I know from this thing is that it is max HP. It's not Spadaf. It might be defensive, which if it's defensive, holy God, this thing is going to be annoying. And I did not prep for this thing very well. at all. So I want to make a play out into Savali. The reason why, at this point, I can set up on Zapdos with my Tyrantrum potentially, and be able to win the game like that. That's my goal right now, is to try to win with Tyrantrum. And Savali, I know, can eat up hits. He goes for a Shadow Ball, and that does 30%. I'm like, okay, that's nothing. I am not going to let him get in Garchomp for free. I know I'm not going to take this thing out. I'm going to bring in Tyrantrum after that to revenge. But I am not letting Garchomp or Zapdos come in free. So I'm going to fire off Ice Beams. T-Ball would have been more damage, but I'm here to just chip this thing down and not give him free switch-ins. Now at this point, from the damage off of that first Psychic and that Shadow Ball, this thing is actually max special attack modest. Which I'm like, okay. So this thing is not max defense, which is awesome because I can come right into Tyrantrum. And I had a play here to make. This is my other play I had to think about. Do I want to just take this thing out with Outrage? Or do I want to try to set up on it? If I don't even know if it gets Ice Beam, but I was worried about that. Give me a second. Focus Blast could have been an issue as well. Gets Ice Punch. Okay. So it could have been potentially Focus Blast. I was battling during the Oscars while I was watching with a couple of my friends, so I didn't really look to see if it had it or not. I just was on damage calcs. If it's Ice Beam, if it would have had Ice Beam, I would have been screwed. So I have to go for an Outrage here, I feel like. I know I'm going to outspeed. So I'm just going to fire off Outrage, take that thing out. Plus, I know I can take out the other two mons with the Outrage. He comes into Zapdos. I'm like, okay, I know you're not defensive. So I can eat a hit. At 71%, I can eat an HP Ice. And I take that out. Which is great. I'm not going to be confused here at this point. And then he's going to bring Garchomp. If he's defensive, I win. If he's offensive, it's iffy. So he fires off. He outspeeds, which he would unless I got up a +1 DD. So he takes me out. Oh shit! This is going to come down to a roll. This, I think it's 68%. It's basically 70% in my favor. I don't know if he's Scarfed or not. If he's just max speed, max HP, I'm screwed. I don't think I can take that out at that point. So I have one play here, HP Fire. I outspeed, and I get the roll. I think he says it right here. 68.8%. Yeah, so I had a very good chance to take it out. He had 4 HP investment. So he was offensive. I can't remember if he was Scarfed. No, he was Scarfed on Zapdos. So thank God I just took out and just attacked with Tyrantrum, because if I would have tried to set up +1, I would have taken out Meloetta up. I would have been at like, depending on what he went for, about half HP, and then he still outsped with Zapdos. So if I would have gone aggressive, not over aggressive, but if I would have gone for the Dragon Dancer, I would have lost this game. Luckily, I made the right call there, and we win this game 1-0. We are currently 3-1 with was it updated? 3-1 with +6 differential. Not awful. We're looking, better. That's not updated. Okay, let's see. 3-1. There's one other team right now that's 3-1 with me, and they are +9. But we're still looking pretty good at this point. The next matchup we have is against someone who is 2-2. That team could be a little annoying. We'll figure it out then. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, everyone, and peace.